this election will have on the future of the Catholic Church around the world and here at home, and whether Pope Leo will follow a similar path as Pope Francis. So joining me now is Father Matthew Gworek. He's a priest spokesman for the Archdiocese of Hartford. We thank you so much for being with us, Father, and coming in.
Thank you, Kara. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we know it's been an exciting day. I mean, you could feel that palpable, but what does it mean to have an American Pope, not just for the nation, but even here in Connecticut?
I think it really is a special thing, you know, for Catholics all over the world and people all over the world, but especially for us as Americans, because we get to have one of our own. You know, it's really wonderful in our church, which sometimes can feel out there or disconnected or somewhere else, to say, hey, this was just a kid from Chicago who's now the Pope of the whole church. And for us, even in Connecticut, we can look and say, this is one of our guys. And I think that's really special.
Yeah, well, and speaking of that, a lot were concerned. And here's that momentous occasion as everyone was waiting to see him come to the balcony. People were wondering, what direction will the church go in? Will it become more conservative? Will it go way over here? Will it continue in the path of Pope Francis, who was certainly very inclusive? What can you tell us about the direction based on this election?
I think even in his opening words, what he shared with us today before he blessed all of us, I think the fact that he mentioned and even specifically thanked Pope Francis, he talked about a missionary church, he talked about building bridges. It seems like he's going to be a pope that wants to continue in that line and really reach out to everybody and really help and love and care for everyone that we can.
So in the lines of being a bridger or being inclusive, a church for all.
Absolutely. You know, he, in a similar way to Pope Francis, has reached out to the margins. He's gone to help out, whether it's Peru or in his order in the United States, all over the world. He's helped people and everyone and focused on that. And I think for us, we can look at that and say, yeah, he's not going to be one group or another. He's going to be bridging all of us together, hopefully in a beautiful way.
He mentioned being an Augustinian. What does that mean?
I think there's something wonderful looking at him in this, you know, Augustinian order, and the fact that really the last two popes, Pope Francis was a Jesuit, and now we have an Augustinian, and these religious orders have been where the popes have come from recently. And I think there's something about that, because these orders, they're all about community. They're all about this togetherness, these men or women working together and living together. And I think in that building bridges and connecting people kind of way, these cardinals have said, you know what, you've lived this, you know and understand it, and that's what we want.
Yeah, it'll be so interesting to see if people are going to, I know we have confirmation this weekend, but if people are going to Mass or anything in the next week or two, anything to expect as Connecticut Catholics?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we'll start saying his name right there in our prayers and certainly praying for him. But also I think you're going to see churches that maybe start to have his picture up, places in which he gets mentioned, he gets preached about, because we want to introduce this man, like we would to any pope, to our people, to our church, and let them know how special it is that we have a new leader, a new pope, and how special it is for us as Catholics and as people to offer our prayers and our support to him.
Father Gworek, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and to enlighten us about what all this means. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
And we have much more ahead on your evening news tonight on the CBS Evening News at 6:30. Nora O'Donnell, Maurice Dubois, and Tony DeCopel are all in Rome. They'll be bringing you live extensive reports.